همه فارسی زبانن یا انگلیسی زبان هم دارن؟
انگلیسی بهتره.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. Assalamu alaikum. I guess this is the fourth meeting we have, or third, or fourth maybe?
Third, I believe.
Third, yes. But practically from today, I will be having sort of classic lectures, systematic classes, I would say. The topic is Islam and Christianity. This is a portion of series of lectures we will have. Islam and Christianity is just a segment, a section of the lectures we will have. In the future, we will have Christianity itself, comparing Christian theology within the religion. You know, we have Orthodox Christianity, Catholicism, Protestantism, and we have different sects in Protestantism itself. So we will have also lectures on Judaism and Christianity, Judaism and Islam, and so forth. Maybe if we can, we will touch on atheism as well. So that will be probably very last session. So this part, Islam and Christianity, a comparative study. We're going to study as two religions side by side. I know you all have basic knowledge on Islam. I won't go to very deep and detail on Islam. However, if it requires, I will have to touch on some parts. Last week, one of you asked a question on the divine leadership in Islam. So this is a bracket I'm opening. This is not part of our lecture. Now I'm opening a bracket responding last week's question, which we didn't have time. The gentleman left. I don't know if he's here or not. So he's not here. But anyways, we are recording. Hopefully he will have access to the recorded video. He said, where is this idea of divine leadership in the Quran? Imamah. In Shi'a theology, we call it imamah, or divine leadership. In Shi'a school of thought, imamah doesn't mean just any leader. We know many mosques, they have imam. But that's not the topic. That's not what we mean. The imamah in Shia theology means divinely assigned man to rule entire nation, not just Muslims, the entire humanity. That's from the Shia belief. It's not from Sunni belief. It's not from Judaism. It's not from any other religions. So he said, where is this idea in the Quran? It's a good question, right? We get our knowledge, the base knowledge from Quran, and that's very important for Shia. So first of all, we have to know why Prophet's household are among these, divine leadership, divinely assigned leaders. Why we consider them and their progeny as the divinely assigned leaders? Why not others? Why just the family of Prophet? Isn't this kind of, sectarianism or maybe racism or something like that? It looks like, right? First of all, when you go to the history of prophets, almost every major prophet assigned his brother or his son or one of his very close relatives, like cousin, to be his vicegerent, to be the next leader. For instance, Adam alayhi salam, I know he had only sons and daughters, so there was no one around. He assigned Abel or Habil, and then after Abel was martyred, he assigned Shis, his third son. Noah assigned Sam, his second son, right? At the time of Noah, there were other people too, but Noah assigned his own son. Then Moses assigned Harun alayhi salam, as his vicegerent, right? Then you come down, David assigned his son, Solomon, right? Zechariah assigned his son. Who was Zechariah's son? Zechariah, Yahya, John the Baptist. And John assigned his cousin. Who was John's cousin? Jesus, Isa. John assigned his cousin as his vicegerent, and Jesus assigned one of his close relatives called Simon or Shamun or Peter, Petros, as his vicegerent. However, there were prophets they chose very distant relative or even a stranger as their vicegerent. There were occasions. But majority of the prophets, they pick brother or cousin or son and so forth. So that's one thing. So it's not my business why prophets chose one of their relatives as their vicegerent, as their khalifa, as their, we call it imam, or the leader of ummah, leader of the nation. It's not my business. You don't ask that question from me. You go ask the next life, you go ask God, question prophets, why you chose your cousin or your brother or your son. Then he will say, Lord, you told me to choose Ali. Lord, I asked you, may Arun be my Khalifa, and you accepted this in the Quran. Moses asked God, I need Harun, my Khalifa, to be my vicegerent, to be my Wazir and Khalifa. This is exactly in the Quran. I asked you and you accepted. Zechariah prayed God, give me a Wali, and God said, I'll give you a son to be your Wali. Right? So, this is basically historically in the Quran and in the Bible that most of the prophets had their very close relatives as their vicegerents. However, entire family of prophets was pure from anything you can consider as evil, as sin, as mistake. How we know that? It's famous to the verse of Tathir, Ayat Tathir. That's in Ahzab, chapter number 33, verse number 33, as you see in the screen. إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمُ الرِّجْسَ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. When it says وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا, that it's like emphasizes on the special purity of the Ahlul Bayt. It doesn't mean just pure, it says special purity. It means a purity that no one has had it before. So some people say, well, Prophet's wives were also Ahlul Bayt. Prophet had few wives. They should be regarded as the Ahlul Bayt, as the household of Prophet. No, according to Quran, Prophet's wives were not Ahlul Bayt. Why? Because in Surah Al-Tahrim, in verse number 5, we read that they were hurting Prophet so much that God warned them and threatened them that Prophet can divorce you. If they were sinless, if they were pure, if they were true believer, if they were real submittant and real Muslim, true mu'min, they wouldn't hurt Prophet. You see, the talaq or divorce is the very last step of solution. The conflict between the couple has stages to solve. The divorce is the very last step. Here, Quran, God Himself threatens the wives of Prophet that if Prophet divorces you, I will assign him even a better wives. And it's very interesting verse. I wish we had more time to go through this, but I will just touch on it. It says this, azwajan khayran, means the spouses that are better, right? من كن مسلمات مؤمنات قانتات تائبات. All these, it means you are not, but I can assign him, I can give him wives that are this. They are believers, they are true devotees, they truly turn to God in repentance, they will worship really God, they will so and so. But it looks like you are not. So this verse shows that the wives of Prophet were not the Ahlul Bayt. There are other verses as well. So necessity of Imam. Now we know, okay, Ahlul Bayt are pure according to Quran. So, and one of them basically going to be the leader of the Ummah, as we have in many occasions Prophet chose Imam Ali. So why we need Imam? How many scientists now we have? We have geographers, we have politicians, we have medical specialists, we have physicians, we have astronomers, all kind of scientists we have, lawyers, everything we have. Why we need Imam? Imam is someone religious, knows the rules of God and so on. So no, in Shia, I believe Imam is not just a religious leader. He is everything. He's everybody. You ask him anything, he has the answer. That's what we need. We need someone who is godly man, God-fearing man, a pure man with no mistake, with no lack of knowledge, with no deficiency in his faith, in his compassion, in his love to humanity, and in his knowledge. We need someone like this. That's called Imam. Why we need it? According to Quran, entire humanity depends on Imam. Without Imam, no human can even survive on earth, and God would not allow even one man live on earth. How we know it? The first time God wanted to create Adam, what he said. Before creating Adam, God says to angels, the Malaik, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ. What God said to Malaik, to angels, إِنِّي جَائِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. You see, we have animals, we have plants, we have all kind of living and unliving things on earth. Perfect. In a perfect ecosystem without human being. And I would love actually see that ecosystem without pollutions, without troubles. Then all of a sudden God says, I want to put a Khalifa. Doesn't say, I want to put a man or woman on earth. No, because Khalifa is above that concept. God says, I want to put a Khalifa, vicegerent on earth. He picked from human being this Khalifa. They were jinn also. Why God didn't put jinn as Khalifa? Why he didn't put Malaik as Khalifa? He put from insan in the shape of Adam, put on the earth, and this is my Khalifa. So really this is a complicated topic. I just wanted to answer that question that we do need, because before even human being come on earth, God's design and will was to have a Khalifa on earth. Now we have 7.5 or maybe 8 billion population on earth. What are we gonna do without Khalifa? Does it make sense even? God leaves all these human beings without his vicegerent? It doesn't make sense. According to Quran, it doesn't make sense.